Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the the Essay Cricket Podcast. I still get used to it. I'll get used to it. This is the South African Cricket Podcast. This is your number one cricket podcast show. My name is Mpho and I've got Tim Delace with me. Tim, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, mate. I'm doing well. So we obviously it's not our topic, but some
Mhm.
very interesting cricket happening on at the moment, dude. I've taken myself away from absorbing uh 4-day game to do this podcast. So I hope the people realize uh I've my sacrifice.
I think the people will have realized your sacrifices. I go check what happened in the last hour. Anyway, please, with the South African Cricket Pod, please follow us on X at SA Cricket Pod. Also, subscribe to the South African Cricket Pod YouTube channel, as well as South African Cricket Podcast on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Also, you can support us. Obviously, we rebranded. We used to be called the Full Quota Podcast. You can support us at by buying us some coffee at buymeacoffee.com/SA Cricket Pod. And also, you can send us your emails through at sacricketpod at gmail.com. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. We've got some 4-day games going. We've got the Proteas women at in India at the World Cup. We've also got the Proteas men, who today is the discussion, a review of the first test. I'm just looking at the Titans right now. Looks like the Titans are leading the Lions by 88 runs in the third innings. They're 106 for 4 in the third innings with a lead of 88. Just doing a little squiz around South African cricket land because Tim is telling us many things about what's going on here. Is it the East Val Northwest Dragons? And oh wow, the Dragons only lead by 67 and they're 188 for 5. But hey, look, Ruben Harman and Dean Forrester are still in, so a lot can still happen. And then on the other side with Boerland, the Warriors lead by 58 on day 3. They're also down to 175 for 5. Jordan Hanman's about to score 100, and Patrick Kruger's on 41. So really, really cool there. And then the last one, that's against Boerland. That's for the Warriors. And then those are the Lions. Who's the other team? It's the Durban Derby. Where's that? Trying to find that. Sorry, some bad podcasting, but yeah, it is what it is. And I think they're off for bad light already. You gotta love this in Durban. Anyway, cool. Tim, that's like a view of what's happening, but we're gonna talk about all of that on Monday. Now, before we talk to about the Proteas men, we have to talk about the Proteas women. They have been really, really good in actually, they've been very good in India, beating India, courtesy of Nadine de Klerk and Chloe Tryon in terms of pulling the game back together and giving them an extra win that you didn't expect for the tournament, Tim. And then the game against Bangladesh. If Bangladesh could catch, my word. There's a point where I was actually loving how the Bangladeshis were bowling. The spin bowlers, I thought in the India game, India missed a trick by going back to the fast bowlers. They should have just kept bowling their spinners and forcing Nadine to try and muscle it as much as possible over Kyle Corner. But they just kept on giving the South Africans pace, and they lost the game for it. Bangladesh, on the other hand, learned from that, and they just kept on throwing spinner after spinner after spinner. The only problem is they just don't know how to field. And look, I'm looking at both wins, and I think the India win gives me a lot more comfort, but the Bangladesh win gives me a lot more pause because I think if you play teams that have very good spinners and quality fielders, you find yourself in a situation where you could be 75 for 6 down, like you were, and staring down a barrel, and Nadine and Chloe can't save you. But it's good that Chloe and Nadine are finding form with the bat and that they're moving on. And the semifinals look very likely from where we're standing, Tim.
Yeah, I was having, and this perhaps will be an interesting discussion for after this World Cup. And I was having a debate with somebody, um, actually, a friend of us in our previous guys, James King, and we were discussing the direction of the women's game, and we both agreed that whatever happens, the new generation have to come in, even if we win it. If we win it, there's got to be changes. But that is a discussion for another day. Why are they getting these wins? Why are they getting over the line? Our general feeling in our discussion was match winners. Nadine de Klerk, Tanya Fritz, people who can win you a game when the chips are down and are doing it in this World Cup. It's not necessarily a team effort because we are finding ourselves in a bother where we said that we were going to find ourselves in a bother in these conditions. So it's great that we're getting these wins, but it is concerning for me. I don't see this team beating Australia or England in a semi-final unless they have a terrible, 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 terrible day. I don't see us getting over the line. So, fantastic to see, fantastic to witness. It's nail-biting stuff, but there are still the same problems with this team. I won't go into all of them, but Nadine is batting far too low down. It is ridiculous that she's batting where she is in this team.
What they'll tell you is they're trying to save her for the last 15 overs for her to be a little bit more effective, which I get, but I'm with you. Sinala should be batting at 8. I honestly and she can't be batting at 6. Chloe should be batting at 6, and Nadine should be batting at 7, right? And even a little bit higher, right? But because I know this team's got a lot of batters, right? But and my situation is, what's the point of bringing Sinala Jafta in there when you've got better batters below her, right? And look, this team is not perfect, but they're winning. So they can win, but we can also not be happy about it, right? And we can criticize elements, and we've done that over the last couple of months, right? The bowling is just, I don't know what we're doing there, right? Marizan is not the same person. I saw they dropped Aya, but the fact that you allowed Bangladesh to score 230, which was the second time at a World Cup where they've scored over 200, was a problem. And we nearly lost because of it, right? They had England in trouble, but luckily for them, for England, they needed to only get to 169. We need to get to 230. And we needed to get to 230 with Tasman failing, Marizana and Laura losing their wickets in unfortunate times, and in a middle order that just isn't coming alive, right? And I know that they've dropped Marizan into the middle order, and you can say Marizan's in the middle order, but anybody else who isn't Marizan in that middle order hasn't scored runs. You'll tell me about Sine, and we're thankful that she's come through, but Annika Bosch looks a shadow of herself. She hasn't scored a 50 in like over 7 innings. Annery Dirksen, I don't know what's happened, but that's not working. And to a certain extent, she had lost a place in the team, if we're being honest. And then obviously you got Chloe and Nadine, who are having the tournament of their lives, which is good to see and really, really great for us, because at the end of the day, that is where we are right now. It's Chloe and Nadine are having a superstar tournament. And to a certain extent, at the start of the tournament, we said you needed other people to put their hands up, and it's Chloe and Nadine. How long it lasts, we don't know. Whether you can take on Australia with Chloe and Nadine in this form, possibly, but they have to play badly. England as well. To think this team is world beaters would be akin to, a person who's not actually doesn't have the foresight to actually understand that, that this team's not there. What's happened, Tim, what's happened is New Zealand are horrible. I thought New Zealand would be better. They are so bad. Bangladesh have improved, Pakistan have improved, Sri Lanka have improved. The problem with those three teams is that their fielding is letting them down. They have the bowling to cause you troubles. They've got the batting to win games if it's a low scoring affair. The issue is their fielding, not even the ground field. I think the ground field is improved. It's taking catches. Nadine gave them a dolly, and who was it? Shauna Akhtar, who caught Marzan in the same spot, couldn't do it for Nadine, and that's the reason why we're sitting here with the win against Bangladesh. But yeah, so for me, team's not playing its best. We're going to be scraping our way through. Let's see how far we get, because that's the nature of it. It's just not pretty.
Yeah, we can't go out all the way, but as we said without repeating myself, the same problems that were there before the World Cup are still there. The point that you make there is, if we'd lost to Bangladesh, which was most of that game was very possible, and New Zealand had got the win against, I think it was Sri Lanka, the game that they had rained out. They got that win there, which you would imagine they would. We would be in a problem at the moment. We'd still be in a better position, but fourth would be looking not concrete, not certain. Whereas at the moment, we're going to make it. Whether we finish third or fourth, we are going to make it, because the gap is so large because of our wins.
Yeah. Okay. The Proteas women play tomorrow on Friday. We're recording on Thursday against Sri Lanka. Chances are it's going to be a rain-affected game, but hopefully the Proteas women will be able to get some sort of result out of it. I think, look, washout's not going to be the worst of things for the Proteas women, because in essence, the team that's chasing them for a spot is New Zealand, and they only have 3 points. So, yeah, it's not a scary thing for them right now. But you don't want to bring in the Bangladesh into the equation or Pakistan. And so, yeah. But good luck to the Proteas women, and yeah, we'll be talking about that a lot more as the weeks go by and the tournament goes by. Today's, Tim, is a discussion around the Proteas men and the review of the first test. South Africa lost to Pakistan by 93 runs in Lahore. Many people are saying this game was obviously lost at the toss. I struggle to believe that. I do think it was increasingly hard, but this team's a second innings team. This team can do it in the second innings, and I thought there were a couple of moments where in the game where I kind of felt we gave it easier to Pakistan, and there were the way some people play spin in this team bothers me. It scares me. It's like they're not watching, But I get, sometimes you're bogged down and you're just like, let me just sweep, or let me just reverse sweep, even though there's men behind them. It's fine. But anyway, so it's not the best way for us to start the World Test Championship defense. But the Proteas men, yeah, look, we lost, but there's some positives. And we're going to talk about the positives. We're also going to talk about the negatives. So let's start with the negatives. Negative number one, and I'll say this again. Okay, not again, but dear ICC, in order to stop this whole home advantage thing, and I think home advantage is important and everything else, you should allow the away team to decide what they want to do. Do away with the toss. Just be like, away team, you're here. You must decide what you want to do with the condition, right? Since the home team is set up for those conditions. To let the home, like when Pakistan batted first, I thought of India, and I was like, even in India, we're going to have the same problem. The only good thing about India is that Timber's captain, and Timber's a lot luckier with the toss than Aiden is. I think Aiden loses tosses for fun. And it's not an Aiden issue. It's just, sometimes,
It just
there was a point
happens.
where
Yeah.
Faf in that India series, by the time we got to the third test, he rolls out timber because he's like, I'm losing games just because I'm standing here at the toss making the wrong call. And it is heads or tails. But it would be better if you allowed the away team to just decide. Yes, yeah, we can say it, we're batting first, right? It'd be seriously unfair to Pakistan, but it's their home conditions. They should win from any position. But we got some really intriguing performances, and I think we're gonna talk about those positives there. But the way some of our batters played against spin, particularly a Tristan Stubbs, a Cal Verena, was very, very worrying. Aiden Markram, very worrying. And I know they're better than this. And I know we're probably going to keep the faith with them and just play them another game. But I know we want to be positive. But there's a point of being positive is different in different countries. In South Africa, yeah, big booming drives, being positive, being on the front foot, being able to nullify the movement of the ball, or even the bounce, but getting there and coming through with a cover drive and playing down the ground and playing with a vertical bat, that works. That is what we want in South Africa, to say you want to be positive. In the subcontinent, Tim, being positive is rotating the strike. It's not hitting them for four. It's get the ball and try find a way to score one run. Get to the other side. There's no time issue here. And I kind of felt some of our players wanted to pin Pakistan back with a flurry of boundaries. And to a certain extent, Divock Brevis did it, and he did it well. But he picked his spots. He was still rotating the strike. He actually, a lot of those shots that he was playing were low risk shots, right? He was, if he knows that he's going to hit it in the air, he tries to hit it as hard as possible to clear the ground. And there's room for counter attacking. But at the start of the second innings, an agricultural hoik across the line from Aiden Markram isn't the type of stuff I want to see from my captain. Yes, 270 is a long way to go. Yes, we are most likely going to lose this game, but give us something. And the thing for me is we lost by 93 runs. And in the first innings, Kyle walks in. It's just sweeping everything. It's like he can't read the spin. And then I'm sitting there going, but dude, you just like, it feels like he was a walking wicket. Stubbs as well. The Stubbs, Brevis, and Verena axis there in that first innings gave us 0 runs. Okay, Kyle gave us a few runs, but you just sat there going, but guys, what are we trying to do? I think Devolt got a good ball, so I'll excuse him there. But had we got 15 from Stubbsy, a fighting 15 from Kyle, and maybe, a 15 from Devolt, we'd be within striking distance of this Pakistan team. The mental makeup of that fourth innings chase isn't a survival or, the odds are against us. It's we can win this. And that gives a massive difference rather than necessarily looking at 270 and going, it'll be a miracle if we get there. And then the other thing that I didn't like about the second innings is outside of Rick, and yes, it felt like there was a ball with your name in the second innings, but we've watched cricketers defy that notion, or there's a ball with your name here. And what I didn't get from everyone else who's not Rickleton, Devolt Brevis, was that I never got the idea that they were applying themselves, that they were watchful of the ball. Maybe Tony is the guy, and Tony struggles with pace, with left arm pace. It's weird, but like Tony's in this weird part where if you're a left arm pacer, you're either gonna get caught at slip or you're just gonna be pinned in. But that's the nature of Tony. He plays very late. But like outside of that, like nobody gave me I want to be defiant. Devolt Brevis gave me that, and well done to him. Ricks gave me that, and Ricks applied himself the opposite way, where he was great with his defense and he was able to rotate the strike and keep himself not bogged down. And that for me was the primary issue of how we approach this test with the bat. I kind of felt that we wanted to be super aggressive and put them so much on the back foot that we forgot that putting them on the back foot is potentially death by 1,000 cuts. A single here, a single there, a single there. Move men around, right? It's not boundaries and not sixes and not, you don't want to be sitting there for 6 balls without you just defending, with you just defending. You want to move the ball around, come up and down, that type of thing. And we didn't see a lot of that in the first innings. We definitely didn't see that in the second innings, even though it was extremely hard to bat in the second innings. But I still say, even if we lost the toss, there were many chances for us to win that game, and we let it slip largely with the batting. You can tell me about the bowling, and yes, maybe, we're going to discuss that, but I look at the way we batted, and I kind of feel like that's where we lost the game. Tim, what say you?
Where did we lose the game? I don't actually think it was on any particular facet. It was a range of things. So I think, although the drop catches in themselves didn't monetarily, they didn't cost a lot of runs, they cost a lot in terms of the momentum. So those drop catches that we had dropped, some half chances, some legitimate drop catches. There were only, I think, 3, but they were crucial. They made the difference of 50 runs. That 50 runs, when we're 7 down, where we need 40 to win, it makes a difference. It makes a difference. Harmer's in there with whoever's who he was in with, and they think, you know what? We can get that. We can get 45. We can get 45. It's not going to be easy, but we're going to get 100. 100's just too much. But I genuinely think Shukri has stumbled upon something. I genuinely think if we are going to beat Pakistan and India, this is the way to do it. The way we're not going to play Shark Callis, Gary Kirsten, Graham Smith way. We are not going to win games in Asia playing in that fashion. That is just not going to happen. We don't have those kinds of players.
Blocking and rotating the strike.
We don't have Alistair Cook. We don't have Jonathan Trott. We don't have those kinds of players. We are not going to win games doing that. We have to take risks. Were there too many risks in the second innings? Undoubtedly. Was Aidan Markham's shot an abomination? Absolutely.
Like, what the hell was that?
I don't know. I don't know. So early in the innings, it made no sense at all.
It's like he effectively was putting up the white towel to be like, yeah, look, guys, I'm the captain. We're not winning this game. Like, I heard there's golf courses in Pakistan. Let's just go there, or let's go drink tea. Tapal tea. If you want to sponsor the show, let's go do that rather than actually focus on cricket.
But I genuinely think that positive approach can win us the second test match. With Keshav coming in, it is very doable. I left the test match going, we could have won that. That it wasn't, oh God, we lost. And it was, we could have won that. We genuinely could have won that. Another 20 runs from Purvis. In the Pakistan were panicking with the way Purvis was playing. Pakistan were going, what do we do? What do we do? What it needed a yin and a yang in that. So what it needed was a performer or Bellingham as his partner.
But he got Ricks, and Ricks was doing the job of a performer and a Bellingham.
Yes, but it needed. Ricks was fantastic. So every batter needs to find their own way to a certain extent. Not every batter is going to be able to do a Purvis. Purvis is a one-in-a-lifetime talent. He's going to have to go that way. Purvis, you can't tell Purvis, go and play like Ricks. He won't make 10. he will be out before he gets to 10 if he plays like Ricks.
Mm.
Ricks was fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that he proved me wrong, because if we look at the preview, I said drop Ricks and play Tony. I'm so glad he proved me wrong. Absolutely, the backing from Shukri was the right decision there. Absolutely. But I genuinely left there going, we could have won that. In the first innings, Pakistan's first innings, Harmer bowled beautifully. How he only got 1 wicket, I'll never know. I will never know. I know I'm Harmer's boy, but still, he out bowled our spinners, Brian in particular, by a country mile. On another day, he would have got 3 or 4. He gets 3 and 4. We win the game by 2 wickets. The margins in this test match were very, very small. This is the right way. Shukri stumbled upon something. I now can see us winning in India. I'm not saying we're going to do it. I'm not saying we're favourites. We absolutely are not. But I can actually see a plan. It requires an awful lot of luck, but I can actually see something worth that could work, which is a huge plus.
Tim, I agree with you to a certain extent, largely because, yes, I understand everyone has their style of play, but at times it looks like the batters don't know what to do. And then because we're playing this positive style of cricket, you get shots like Aiden's shot. And he's going to sit there going, but I was trying to be aggressive. And then we're going to excuse it by that. Meanwhile, you got to pick your spots. That with maturity. This is test match cricket, right? Not every ball needs to go for 4. Pakistan doesn't always need to be put under pressure. What I loved about Brevis's innings was that he defended well. He picked his moments. He put the bad ball away, or the ball he felt was in his half, right? It was riskier than normal because Ricks went the other way, which also tells me that all these players have the ability to bat with 2 gears. You don't always have to go at 150 kilometers per hour. You also don't always have to go at 40. But there may be days where we need you to go at 40, similar to when we were trying to save test matches and AB scored, 40 off of like 400 balls, whatever it was, and Amla did something similar. And, when we're trying to do the great escapes in Australia, I get that, right? But what I'm saying is we say these players are so talented and we can see it. What is it about spin bowling that makes you forget everything that you know about batting, right? Because for me, the moment I see slog sweeps and I see sweeps come out, it tells me you don't know where the ball's going. You're afraid to get to the pitch of the ball and kind of like dot it down and look for a single there. You're also afraid of playing it very late, which is fair. The late part I get, but you're at the pinnacle of the sport. You should be able to be comfortable to do that. Right? And these guys are not mystery spinners. The ball's going the same way over and over again. The only difference is the bounce and potentially maybe the pace. Right? But like I'm watching guys, Kyle, sweep against the spin. And I sit there going, no. Same thing with Aiden. The reason why I'm mad at Aiden was this game was tight. It was fine margins. If you believe this game was fine margins, that shot shouldn't have come out at that point in time. Same thing with Kyle. Kyle in the first innings was coming out, sweeping every ball like a cat on a hot tin roof. And I'm sitting there going, but dude, calm the fuck down. Oh, sorry. Sorry, we shouldn't be swearing, but anyway, I'm mad. Right? And he's going forward, he's going back. And then I'm like, he's sweeping like, dude, you're sweeping against the spin. The ball's either going to pop up and you're going to get caught, or you're just going to miss it entirely because you're just always just going down there. And I'm no expert, but what I've seen from spin bowling is, try get to the pitch of the ball. You can even get to the pitch and smother the ball. And with these guys, if you get to the pitch of the ball, double step, it's out the ground if you watch it and you time it properly, right? But like for me, that was my worry. It was fine margins, and that was my issue. My issue was the guys who were woefully off form. Stubbs, Kyle to a certain extent, not woefully, but it was a massive challenge for him. Vian, who Mr. 367, those we needed contributions from those guys. We really did, and we didn't get it. And it's seen in the scorecard, but it's also seen in the way this game ends. This game to Pakistan felt like it was very tough because it got closer than they expected. The issue I had, the issue they had was, or the thing in their favor was, we gave them free wickets. Aiden's wicket in the second innings was free. Vian's wicket was definitely free. And both Carl's wickets were like also, a little free. Yes, it was an LBW in the second innings, but like, look, dude. And then you sit there going, we're exposing ourselves, and Stubbs as well. Stubbs, I don't know what's going on, but he looks off color. And if one of those guys gives us a 20, we're in this game. One of them fights to 20. I'm not asking for half centuries. I'm asking for someone to get to 20. Because that's how we get there. 20, now we need 80, and then we figure out everything else and everything changes. We might not get Devolt's innings, but it's about fighting through things. And I feel like it's a cop-out to our batters, Tim, when they sit there and say they want to be positive, we want them to be. But then when you have a wild shot, and then we're told, no, he was trying to be aggressive, that's how we need to play. But everybody and sundry can see that you don't try hit a slog sweep when the ball's turning away from you. And that for me is things that I just don't get. And then the over reliance on sweeping and reverse sweeping tells me that you don't know where the ball's going, you don't know how it's coming out the hand, and you're not necessarily trying to focus just a little bit more to get there. What I loved about Ryan is that Ryan was very watchful. That was the whole Ryan story. Ryan and Tony were watchful. They watched the ball, they played it, they didn't care about the run rate, they didn't care about looking for boundaries. They just wanted us to rotate the strike, looking for ways to score and trying to get to the other side. And you can still live in that world and also dominate them by trying to get boundaries. They are as talented, but there's a point where a little bit of maturity that needs to happen. And for me, it was that lack of maturity that lost us this game with the bat.
Yeah. I so wish that I had tweeted it at the time. Like all good tweets, you don't have the balls to do it. You don't have the balls to go, this is what I think right now when it doesn't look likely. So Tony's in. Pace bowler's bowling. He edges the ball between keeper and first slip. He edges the ball between first slip and gully. He edges the ball again in a similar position. 3 balls. He's on 10. I says to my dad, 100. He's going to make 100. Now, I'm saying this now, but there was something that said to me, he's going to make 100. He looked a shadow of, he looked like what his test match average was. It hasn't gone up that much, but it was, early 20s. And I said, you know what? He's actually going to score runs today. He's not quite made it. Boom, what does he do? He makes 100. And a very good one.
Look, Tim, I think when I looked at Tony, right, and I kind of felt that that's the type of innings you need. It's a fighting innings. And I thought guys would take a leaf out of his book. Yes, we didn't get the lead in the first innings, but Tony fought his way through. He was exposed. All his demons were out there for everyone to see. He couldn't play Shaheen. I don't know why they didn't bowl Hassan Ali at him for a very long time. And then when the spinners came, he struggled. Like you could visibly see a man trying to figure out what we needed to do. Every time he brought back that bat, he was hoping he didn't get an edge, right? And that's the attitude that I wanted. And I'm willing to give Tony a longer run in this team just from that attitude, from that application. He focused so well. He fought through all of, because in Zimbabwe, those edges will being caught.
Yeah.
Fast forward a couple of months, man's out here edging everything that Asima is bringing at him. And then Pakistan are like, actually, we'll throw the spinners at you. We're okay. We've seen enough. Very thankful for that decision, Sean Masood. Really, really thankful, because my word, Tony came through. But these are the type of innings that get you through. Ryan, the same thing. Ryan was seeing things. The ball that got him out in the second innings, unbelievable. I did not know how that got to first slip from there. Or even caught the edge. Right? It was unplayable, right? But the spirit of the way Ryan approached that, the way he worked through that, that's the type of thing that will get us to win in India. More than necessarily, in my book, trying to be aggressive and trying to fight back at them. I think the Indians want you to do that, right? And the Pakistanis, to a certain extent, just felt that South Africa were going to defend themselves into a corner and try to apply themselves. And I think that's why Devil Brevis caught them off guard a little bit. And I feel like he's probably the only player who is allowed to do that. Everyone else kind of needs to apply themselves because they're senior players. They've been in the team for like 7 to 10 years. They need to be able to, ride through the storm, get through moments. It's an ebb and flow. And I think we just picked the wrong spots at the time. But yeah, Tony, as advertised, that's the type of spirit we want. I'm really happy for him. And yeah, look, I think he's going to play in India. I think that 100's got him a lot more game time. Where in the batting lineup? I don't know. Tony might even come out to bat at 5, the way this thing is going. But the easy one was to move Vian to 5 and bat Tony at 3. But if you're going to be facing spinners for the whole day, doesn't matter where you come out, effectively, for me. Yes, maybe if there's Bumrah and a harder ball and you want Tony to play, I'd rather Tony be bowled to by Jadeja and Washington Sundar and Akshar Patel than have Bumrah steaming down at him, because, hey, the edge of his bat, he needs to file it off for some weird reason. But amazing century. Ricks also, that was amazing. And then Tim Brevis, Devil Brevis, before we go to the bowlers. Really surprised me in that second innings. Unbelievable. I didn't think he should be there, and I kind of tweeted that and intimated that I thought Luandre would be in that spot, but masterstroke by Shukri to bring him in, especially because of the way he's been so dominant over spin bowling in T20 cricket and limited overs cricket. So really, really good analytical find. Nugget to bring him into the side and give him that role. All I can say is I'd like to see more and a little bit more consistency, but he gave us hope. He gave us a chance. Like, if he was still in there with about 150 to go, we thought we were there, and he just got out at the wrong time. And yeah, that's the only thing about batting second in Pakistan or India, right? There's always going to be a ball that does something. And yeah, it was a really good innings, and he kind of was punching back after Markram, Mulder, and Stubbs were just walking wickets.
Yeah, the maturity of the man is coming through with every innings he's playing. You're right to point out, that if you look at the highlights reel of his innings, you go, those were some wild shots. But what is not in the highlights reel is that he was choosing the deliveries to do those wild shots. He was choosing. He was going, okay, this is going to go over the fielders and in between. That's what it's going to do. It's going to be all right. I'm going to get 2. It's going to look a bit hairy, but you know what? I know what I'm doing. There's method in the madness.
And to
what
some extent,
we need to play in this way, because if we play in this way, it gives us a chance. Even though we're losing wickets, it gives us a chance.
And you know what it did? It actually held back Sajid Khan, because Pakistan did not want to bowl Sajid Khan at him, the off spinner, and it was really interesting. But when he picked Noman Ali's balls, it was picking the lower flighted balls instead of the ones that he was hopping up, which is counterintuitive to what you would normally want, right? The ones that go up and high are the ones you should be attacking. But he was taking on those ones that were lower and flighted, and slightly slower, and he was just hitting them back. And they had no chance. They had no option. And then it forced Pakistan to try to figure out a plan B, and they struggled with that too. It made life easier for Ricks as well. Once Brevis got out, it was like, oh, we're back at it at this whole slog machine. And so to a certain extent, it was I kind of felt for Ryan in that. But look, Deva gave us hope, and that's all we needed, because we were 4 for 55 when he came in, and he left with 100 when we were 128 for 5. So, had he got us to 150, within 120, the game's still on. But yeah, really, really good there from the batting. Any last words from the batting, Tim? That you wanna do?
No, I think we've covered all the bases.
Cool. Yeah. So we've got a guy who, in this match, took a 11-fer. 6 wickets in the first inning, 6 for 117, Senran Mutusami, and then 5 for 57 in the second innings, 11 for 174. Is this why we have Sen in the squad? And is this the start of the Sen summer, where Sen becomes the guy who actually is going to be the wicket taker even in India, and the reason why we win the series in India?
So, what does this team need when you look at the team? It needed, when you don't have a Keshav, it needed somebody with the ability to put 6 balls where they want to. Not somebody who's going to spin it miles, not somebody who is going to, on the surface, look deadly, but it's going to bowl the right line at the right length and give space for Rabada and Harmer, in theory, to get the wickets. The fact that he got the wickets is just a massive, massive bonus. And look, I'm perhaps not describing it as well as I should do, because I actually thought in that first innings, that first spell, first session, I thought he bowled poorly, as well as Pren, which is why I give huge credit to the way Harbour bowled, particularly in that first innings. But like everything in life, he got accustomed to the pitch. He got accustomed to the conditions. He realized, he worked out by the second session, he worked out exactly, this is the length to bowl. This is the line to bowl. And it became very, very challenging because the line was difficult for the Pakistanis. They didn't know whether to play forward, whether to play back, whether to attack. That line made it very, very, very difficult. I have said previously on the podcast, I don't understand saying in T20 cricket. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't contribute enough with the bats. Saying in Test cricket makes sense. When you don't have Keshav, saying in Test cricket makes a lot of sense. It is easily his best format, and I'm absolutely delighted that he has become the only South African to get a 10-fer at Lahore. The list is a long list of Pakistan
bowlers.
Just Pakistan greats. Not just bowlers, greats.
And then you have the South African in
there. So I'm very happy for him.
I really enjoyed watching him bowl. I thought I actually was sitting there going, yeah, this is like, if we win the toss, one toss, all we need is to win one toss. Actually, 2. The next one, and also 1 in India. That's all we need. And Sen, Keshav, and I'm calling it now, Simon Harmer, are going to do the business. And I was really happy. And I was. Everyone knows in this podcast that I have a thing for spin bowling. I want South Africa to play with two spinners in limited overs all the time, and I also want South Africa to experiment more with spin bowlers and in Test match cricket. And this test was beautiful, beautiful, right? Kagiso alone, Vian as the other fast bowler, and then just a barrage of spinners. Even Aiden, came with a little bit of a trundle there, and it worked. It wasn't the difference. Gone are the days of South Africa going, no, we'll go with our three paces and two spinners, and then the two spinners are bowling like 500 overs, and it's just a mess, right? I really enjoyed the way the spinners bowled this game, and yes, obviously they shouldered a lot of the burden, but Sen was unplayable in that second innings. He's the reason why we were kept in the game. He is the reason with the ball. We were on a hiding to nothing before he took those 3 overs on the trot, those 3 wickets on the trot, and then again with the fight back from Rizwan and it was Rizwan and Salman Aliaga. Again, it was him with the 2 in the over, and obviously the hat-trick ball didn't work out. But the reason why we believed we could win this game is Sen. And yeah, I was really happy. Like, it was like, because he gets a lot of criticism. People don't understand why he's around, why he's there, because he hasn't contributed with the bat since probably India, but he did have a couple of half centuries in the last Test series that he played. But this is it. This is why we have him, right? And even if we go with 2 spinners, I wouldn't mind going with 2 left-arm seam spinners, right? But he's really created a problem for Shukri, especially if in the next game, in the next match, it's a slightly seamer friendly, as to what he needs to do with that second spot. And I think the other option is Vian Mulder gets dropped for Marco Jansen. But Mr. 367 won't get dropped. But yeah, I was really, really impressed. I was impressed by Harmer. I was impressed by Sen. Subrian, very good bowler, and I think in that first innings he did come through for us towards the end. But if you had to look at all 3, he wasn't at the races like the others, and the Indians found it hard. And it's just finding the length. And the thing is, that's what makes Keshav so great. Keshav can find the length like from ball 1. And I feel like in that first innings, we couldn't find the length with the new ball, and it made it a little bit easier for the Pakistanis to score runs. Once, obviously, the ball got a little bit older, the lengths that we were bowling with the bounce of the ball, it kind of worked. But yeah, really, really well done to Sen. I was really impressed by him.
Yeah.
The other thing we need to look at, Tim, is, did we miss Timber?
For the very nature that I said earlier, we needed another stabilizer. So we had the stabilizer of Ricks at the top to counteract the Stubbs and the Brevis way that they were going to play. They were always going to play the way that they played. We needed somebody in that middle to go, fine, but I'm the anchor.
But wasn't Tony the guy?
I'm the anchor. In theory, yes, but I wasn't convinced at the start of the Test match that he was going to score runs. At the start of the Test match, I thought, I'm happy he's getting a shot, but in those conditions, I didn't think he was runs. So, I think, yes, we did. Would we have won the Test match? Maybe not, because that second way the way the number was, probably, it's. I think it would be a stretch to say we would won the Test match. But I do think I said it in jest. Obviously, I said it in jest, but also part of what I said when we were having that collapse, and I said, "This is what happens when you drop Bellingham." Now, obviously, I said it for comedic effect, and it was good fun.
You were
But I
mad.
also said it was this team needs stabilizer. This collapse needed a stabilizer that to go along with Rick's somebody with a sound those conditions who's a good
Mm-hmm.
player of spin. And both those players are good players of spin. That's what I
Okay,
was
so look,
in the lines of. But it
I don't.
wouldn't necessarily win us this much, but it
Mm.
would have made the team better balanced, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, I was surprised that Bellingham didn't play and Tony played, but look, I think that was a good one for him, for Shukri. But then obviously Tristan Stubbs' form just keeps on hurting Shukri, because remember Tristan Stubbs started out with Shukri telling us he's a number 3, and yeah, well, the anchor you were talking about could have been him, but that didn't work out. The other thing we need to talk about is obviously the changes, right? Obviously, Keshav comes in, who gets dropped for Keshav, and then also, are you swapping Stubbs for Bellingham or Hamza?
Yeah, so I'm doing exactly what you said. Predator's coming out for Keshav, and Stabo is coming out for Bellingham. I think because of what you saw in terms of the way the Brewers went about it, I think you might give Stubbo another shot. I think you might go. Stubbo can go into gear 5 and 6. Stubbo can do that.
Mm.
I think he stumbled along a way that we could win.
Mm-hmm.
He's sacrificing. That's what he did with 11. He's sacrificing a little bit of stability for X Factor. That's what he's done. I would go, we need a bit of stability. We've got the wow factor there with Brevis. That's enough for me. We don't need to be over-egging it. It's still test cricket. This is not T20s. But so I think he will keep Stubbo, and Pren will sit out for Keshav. But I'm making the two changes. I'm
I'm
bringing
making one
Bellingham for
more.
Stubbo.
I'm making one more. Mr. 367 sits out for me, and I go Marco Jansen. I don't think. I think Vian is great. I think he is what we need, and he gives us the opportunity to play the 3 spinners. I think he's proven that he can bat at number 3. I just wasn't happy with what I saw in Pakistan in both innings, and I'd rather sit at the altar of Marco and KG are good for 2 wickets with the new ball, and try see if we can't pin them back there with the spinners that we have, and try and make this 250 plays 250 instead of 380 plays 250. Because he literally bowled 6 overs and that was it. And then with what he's supposed to bring with the bat, and as I said earlier, had you given me 20 runs, I'd keep you in the team. But if I'm only asking him to give me 20 runs, I can ask Marco Jansen to give me 20 runs. And that's the difference with what I think Vian needs to hold himself to a higher standard, which is why I wanted him to go over 400, because it changes the way you see the game. It changes the way people relate to you. But right now, they know that our middle order is Vian, Stubbs, and Carl. Those guys are going to get out cheaply. And the ones they're afraid of, they're giving them their best stuff. The other ones, they're just giving them normal stuff and they finding themselves in trouble. Like, Vian, why was your bat there in the first place? But anyway, that'd be my third change. I wouldn't be mad at it. And then we go back to Tony batting at 3, and then you go Bellingham 4, and then you go Brevis 5, yes, and then you go Thingy 6. Carl 6,
Carl
Sen
6.
7, and then Mutusami 8. And then Marco's batting at 9. He's quite close to having a test century, right? Heck, I'd even throw Corbin Bosch in there. And I'd be
That's
okay
actually,
with that batting,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, look, I like some performances just awful. And yes, you're allowed to have a bad game. That just was like someone who felt like he was in the deep end and couldn't swim. But I'm not hating on him. I think he'll probably get another chance. The only reason why I'm moving away from him is I don't think I'm going to get much advantage with him with the bat. And this is the best way for him to shut me up. Score 100, please, Vian. A winning 100. I don't think we're going to get much from Vian with the bat in the next test. And so rather go with the pacer and go with someone who actually can fight. Like Corbin. Corbin has surprised us the entire year. I don't think he's a great player spin, but surprised me. Really do. Because every time I've said something bad about Corbin does something great. And so I'd rather throw him in there and be like, actually, this man can fight. It's what Sinalo Jafta has in this women's team, right? Everyone else is talented. She's just works so hard. And yes, she looks like the girl in the dance floor with one move, that little back foot play off the back and try to play around the pad. That's all she has. Yes, she can come forward, but she can't clear the boundary, right? She can hit a cover drive if it looks like it's a net ball, but that's all she has. But damn near she's got to put a price on her wicket. That's all we're asking. Just put a price on the wicket, not 10 rand, like 1,000. Like, you got money, put 1,000 on there. And that's what Corbin. I'm not saying Corbin is Sinalo's level of talent. What I'm saying is Corbin's effort level is the effort level where I'll back you all the time. And I'd be very interested in seeing him in Rawalpindi. They're trying to dry out the pitch. It's fine. But I think he can bowl on these pitches. And the question is, who's going to be more, give you more with the bat and the ball? And I think at this point in time, it might be Corbin over Marco. But I'm okay with that. I'm really, really fine with that. And to let Mr. 367 sit on the ground on the bench, because remember, legends records need to stay for legends. So yeah, put him on the bench. He doesn't see himself as a legend, so put him there. Right? That's how I see it.
But you make a good point. You make a good point. Obviously it will be pitch conditioned, but having an extra out and out bowler does actually make sense. And they both have the ability with the bat. They both have the ability to clear the boundary, which is what we may need in the lower order. Quick runs.
Yes.
Makes sense.
A little bit of a
Makes perfect sense.
Counter punch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let us know what you think about the 11 or what changes you would make in this test match, and also who else needs a shout out or who needs to be shouted at for the way they played in this test. The Proteas go back again in 4 days' time in Rawalpindi on Monday next week. So when we come back on the Monday part, it'll be after day one's play. So we'll be giving you our flavor on that. And we're going to talk about all the domestic games that are going on right now around the country, as well as obviously give you a bit of a recap. Monday is also when the Proteas women play Pakistan. So there's lots of cricket on the go. Tomorrow it's Proteas women against Sri Lanka. Monday is that, and then Monday is the test match. So good luck to the Proteas. But remember, before we go, please do follow us on X at SA Cricket Pod. Subscribe to the South African Cricket Podcast YouTube channel, which if you're watching on here, please do click on the subscribe button. And then also at Apple Podcasts and Spotify, please do go join us there. And then also you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/SA Cricket Pod, or you can just use the QR code on the left, my left, but your right of your screen. Actually, your left of the screen as well, because I'm looking at it like that. To buy some coffee. It's really helped us. We've upgraded, we've moved on, we've changed names, we've rebranded as the SA Cricket Podcast. So we really, really do appreciate your support in that regard. If you're a sponsor and want to talk to us about sponsoring and doing all the stuff, or if you just want to tell us what you thought and if you think we're harsh and all this other stuff, please do email us at sacricketpod@gmail.com. Good luck to the Proteas women, good luck to the Proteas men, and good luck to Western Province, even though I'm rooting against them. And good luck to the Lions and Centurion. Hopefully this time we'll come out with the win. But outside of that, it's goodbye and lesale kakafisa.